Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. Winter session starts with debate on the basic principles of the Constitution. Prime Minister expresses hope that good thoughts and new innovative ideas will prevail in Parliament. Home Minister Rajya says secular and socialist terms unnecessary. Congress President Sonia Gandhi claims core constitutional values under attack in recent times. Rajya Sabha adjourned after paying respects to sitting member Kekio Zimomi of Nagaland People's Front. Nation remembers the 2611 victims on the 7th anniversary of the attacks, commemorative events held to pay homage to the martyrs of the deadly incident. And in the Nagpur Test, needing 310 runs to win, South Africa in trouble after having lost 2 wickets for 32 runs. The top story this evening, signifying the government's inclination for a debate over all issues during the winter session, Prime Minister Modi has said that discussions and dialogue were the soul of Parliament. The opposition parties too agreed with the Prime Minister for smooth functioning of Parliament. However, a united opposition has also urged the government to accommodate divergent views.
Expressing confidence that the winter session would witness eloquent discussions and exchange of innovative ideas, Prime Minister Narendra Modi stressed that there cannot be a bigger platform for dialogue than Parliament. Recalling his meeting with leaders of all parties, the Prime Minister said that everyone had agreed that the House should function in a cordial atmosphere.
सदन से बड़ा कोई संवाद का केंद्र नहीं हो सकता है। वाद हो, विवाद हो, संवाद हो, यही संसद की आत्मा है। बाकी कामों के लिए तो पूरा देश का मैदान अवेलेबल है और मुझे खुशी हुई कि सभी दलों ने वाद विवाद और संवाद के लिए सकारात्मक दृष्टिकोण प्रस्तुत किया है।
The Prime Minister's statement comes in the wake of a raging debate in the country over intolerance. The opposition has plans to corner the government over the issue and slam inflammatory comments by the ruling party's leaders.
जो लोग इसके जवाबदेह हैं देश का वातावरण दूषित करने के लिए, उन लोगों के खिलाफ वो कार्रवाई करें।
The opposition parties have said they are ready for a debate and dialogue, but also hit out at the government for adopting a dictatorial approach in Parliament.
अहम मुद्दे हैं, उसको जरूर सुनना चाहिए। बाकी जहां तक रहा सवाल कि पार्लियामेंट चलनी चाहिए, इस बात के लिए सभी सहमत हैं।
There can be dissenting positions, voices, and the parties in power, the people holding power, they must understand this and they must respect the dissent.
The winter session, which ends on the 23rd of December, will have 38 legislative items, including 7 new bills during its 20 sittings spread across 28 days. 24 of these bills are considered important, including the GST bill, 3 bills related to replacement of ordinances and the real estate regulation bill. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, to mark the 125th birth anniversary of Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, Lok Sabha today held a discussion on the commitment to India's constitution. The core values of the constitution and its provisions were discussed in the House, but a large part of the discussion was devoted to current political issues.
Speaking on the government's commitment towards upholding the core values of the Constitution, Home Minister Rajnath Singh said the 42nd constitutional amendment was unnecessary. The words secular and socialist were added to the preamble of the Constitution using this amendment.
संविधान निर्माताओं की यह मंशा थी कि प्रियम्बल जो भारत के संविधान की आत्मा है, इसमें कोई परिवर्तन नहीं होना चाहिए, एक ऐसी उनकी सोच थी। और उस सोच के बावजूद 42वें संशोधन के माध्यम से इसमें परिवर्तन किया गया। मैं यह मानता हूं कि सोशलिस्ट और सेकुलर यह शब्द यदि डालना यदि आवश्यक रहा होता तो निश्चित रूप से बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर ने भारत के प्रियम्बल में उसी समय सोशलिस्ट और सेकुलर इन शब्दों का जो है प्रयोग किया है।
Rajnath Singh also said that these days the word secular was being used mostly for political gains. The Home Minister also tried to corner actor Amir Khan on the issue of intolerance.
योग्य व्यक्ति थे, विदेशों से भी उन्होंने शिक्षा प्राप्त की थी। उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, मैं भारत में ही रहूंगा और भारत की जो परंपराएं रही हैं, भारत की जो संस्कृति रही है, भारत की अन्य जो विधाएं रही हैं, उन सब सारी चीजों को ध्यान में रख के भारत को एक सशक्त भारत बनाने में मैं अपनी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका का निर्वाह करूंगा, उनका एक संकल्प था। उन्होंने यह कभी नहीं सोचा कि हमारी भारत में उपेक्षा हुई है, भारत में मुझे समय समय पर अपमान झेलना पड़ा है, तिरस्कार झेलना पड़ा है, मैं भारत छोड़कर कहीं दुनिया के दूसरे देशों में मैं चला जाऊंगा। बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर ने ऐसा किया।
For the opposition, Congress President Sonia Gandhi started the debate. Talking about the Constitution, she said that recently the core values of the Constitution have been under attack.
तुक इसीलिए है कि संविधान के जिन आदर्शों और सिद्धांतों ने हमें दशकों से प्रेरित किया है, आज उन पर खतरा मंडरा रहा है। उन पर जानबूझकर हमला हो रहा है।
Sonia Gandhi pointed out that since the birth of the Constitution had deep ties with the independence movement, its history automatically connects with that of the Congress party. The Congress president also targeted the government by repeatedly focusing on the word history.
13 दिसंबर 1946 को संविधान सभा में ही जवाहरलाल नेहरू द्वारा प्रस्तुत उद्देश्य प्रस्तुत ऑब्जेक्टिव्स रेजोल्यूशन ने संविधान की प्रस्तावना का रूप लिया। संविधान अद्भुत रूप से लचीला साबित हुआ है। इसमें 100 से अधिक संशोधन हो चुके हैं।
The debate on the Constitution happened in the current volatile political environment. Although social and economic equality and many other topics were widely discussed, the focus of the entire debate was the issue of intolerance. Shyam Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Rajya Sabha was adjourned today as a mark of respect to sitting member Kehio Zimomi of Nagaland People's Front. Zimomi was admitted to AIIMS for the past few days and died this morning after suffering a stroke. As soon as the House met on the opening day of the winter session, Chairman Mohammad Hamid Ansari mentioned the passing away of the 69-year-old. A well-known social worker, Zimomi worked for the upliftment of the weaker and backward sections. He represented Nagaland in the Rajya Sabha from July 2008 to April 2010 and from April 2010 till this date. Zimomi was a member of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly thrice after his election in 1989. He was also a cabinet minister in charge of industries and commerce in the Nagaland People's Council government. The Delhi police today arrested Aam Aadmi Party MLA Akhilesh Tripathi in connection with a 2013 riots case. Tripathi was sent to judicial custody for 2 days, having failed to appear in court earlier. The MLA from Model Town was the 5th AAP lawmaker to be arrested this year. In the Delhi Assembly, all women MLAs of the Aam Aadmi Party protested against BJP MLA O.P. Sharma. Wearing black badges, they demanded his suspension for making derogatory remarks against Alka Lamba. The House was adjourned twice. Speaker Ram Nivas Goel later suspended Sharma for the rest of the session and referred the matter to the Ethics Committee of the House.
तो इन्होंने 2 सजा दे दी। परसों इन्होंने बोला था आप 5 मिनट के लिए जाओ, फिर कहते हैं 1.5 मिनट के लिए जाओ, अब कह रहे हैं पता नहीं कितने दिन के लिए जाओ। अब मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है, मुझे सदन से निकालना चाहते हैं, दिल्ली से, देश से या इस दुनिया से रुखसत करना चाहते हैं, मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा।
Let's now get you some more news and updates from around the country and nationwide. India today successfully test-fired its indigenously developed surface-to-surface nuclear-capable Prithvi-2 missile. The missile was fired as part of a user trial by the Army from a test range off the Odisha coast. Prithvi-2 has a strike range of 350 kilometers and is capable of carrying around 1,000 kilograms of warhead. The Supreme Court has asked the Maharashtra government to implement its earlier order of issuing licenses to dance bar owners. The top court also raised questions over the government's laws banning dance bars. Maharashtra government has agreed to comply with the orders within 2 weeks and said that all eligible hoteliers will be given licenses. The Supreme Court today decided to continue interim stay of criminal proceedings against Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi. A defamation case was lodged against him for remarks allegedly holding the RSS responsible for the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. Meanwhile, Rahul refused to settle the case by expressing regret for his comment. He told the top court that he would prefer to argue. Around 15 Indian fishermen have been arrested by the Sri Lankan Navy for allegedly violating the international maritime boundary line. Their boats were also taken into custody. This is the 5th such incident this month. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has announced a plan on a ban on the sale of alcohol in the state from April next year. This comes after the JDU leader had earlier promised women voters that he would ban liquor in the state if voted to power again. The alcohol ban is Kumar's first big announcement since he took office last week. Time for us to take a quick break. All the international news on the other side. Russia has deployed air defense missiles on its air base in Syria, even as world leaders urge Russia and Turkey to try and de-escalate the tensions.
Tales that inspire, stories of social change. A salute to diversity, promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries every Friday at 10:30 p.m., Saturday 12:30 p.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. And now today is the 7th anniversary of the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. Various commemorative events were held to pay homage to the heroes and victims of the deadly attacks that shook the entire nation. Members of Parliament also paid tribute and pledged to stand united against terrorism.
A solemn tribute to the 166 brave hearts who lost their lives in the brutal terror attack on Mumbai 7 years ago. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis led the commemoration ceremony at the 26/11 memorial at the police gymkhana early Thursday morning. He was accompanied by his cabinet colleagues, senior police officers and families of the martyrs who laid down their lives in the 2008 siege. UN Chief Ban Ki-moon also called for justice for the victims of 26/11, saying perpetrators of the attacks must be brought to book. In a statement to news agency PTI, the UN chief said, "Without prejudicing the law enforcement in individual countries, I want to reaffirm that all perpetrators of terrorist attacks must be brought to justice. I believe that an improved relationship between India and Pakistan could create a more conducive environment for both countries to stem the threat posed by terrorism." On this day in 2008, 10 Pakistani terrorists arrived by the sea route and opened fire indiscriminately at various locations in Mumbai. 166 people, including 28 foreigners and 18 security personnel, were killed and property worth crores was damaged. The recent attacks in Paris were a reminder of what happened in Mumbai 7 years ago. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj left for the Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting Summit in Malta today. The three-day-long summit that starts tomorrow will focus on combating terrorism and tackling climate change. The 53-member bloc summit is held once in 2 years, coming just days after the deadly terror attack in Paris, and will reportedly deliberate on finding various ways to counter terrorism and radicalization. India is Commonwealth's biggest member country. More than 30 heads of state, along with UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, will attend the session. The French President François Hollande will meet Vladimir Putin in Moscow to forge a broader coalition against the Islamic State. However, the controversial shooting down of the Russian jet by the Turkish military is expected to cast a shadow on this effort. France has said it can only work closely with Russia if Moscow works on a political transition in Syria without President Assad. Hollande also met Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi in Paris on Thursday as part of the efforts to rally support for the fight against the Islamic State. Meanwhile, the US has imposed sanctions on 10 targets for backing Assad. It said it will freeze assets of 4 people and 6 entities, including a Russian bank, for providing him support. Moscow slammed the sanctions, accusing Washington of playing geopolitical games on Syria. Meanwhile, Turkey and Russia are refusing to back down in the row over the downing of the latter's warplane. Russia has sent an advanced missile system to Syria to protect its jets operating in the region. With the rescued Russian pilot claiming to not have received any warnings, Turkey has released audio of the warning sent to the downed jet. Here's more.
Refusing to back down in a bid to ease tensions, Russia now plans to deploy long-range air defense missiles to its base in Syria, which will destroy any target that may threaten its warplanes. If Russia reciprocates by downing a Turkish plane, the NATO member could proclaim itself under attack and will be eligible to ask for military assistance. Signaling a potential war between the two sides, France and Germany have once again urged de-escalation of the crisis.
Avoir une politique qui puisse être effective pour le contrôle de nos frontières extérieures et que nous puissions agir notamment avec la Turquie pour que ces personnes qui sont tentées de fuir.
The conflict has deepened, with the rescued Russian pilot saying that they received no warning from Turkey. Not to be left behind, Turkey released audio recordings of the warnings it gave to the Russian jet before shooting it down near the Syrian border.
На самом деле, никаких предупреждений не было. Ни по радиообмену, ни визуально. Вообще не было контактов. Поэтому мы заходили на боевой курс в штатном режиме.
Meanwhile, Russian civilians stood behind their soldiers as they protested outside the Turkish embassy in Moscow.
Тех людей, которые вместо того, чтобы быть честными и правильными партнерами.
The situation seems headed towards an impasse, with both Turkey and Russia remaining adamant over their rights as nations, yet promising not to escalate the issue further. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, in a major development that could escalate territorial disputes with China, Japan is planning to deploy about 500 ground troops to bolster defense in the East China Sea. Vice Minister of Defense Kenji Wakamiya said was in Ishigaki on Thursday to explain a plan to deploy soldiers on the island from 2019. Ishigaki has jurisdiction over the Japanese-controlled Senkaku Islands, which China also claims. Tokyo's move comes even as China has been building up military forces and increasing patrolling in the disputed islands. Time for some more international news and global buzz. A Russian helicopter carrying 25 oil workers crashed in eastern Siberia. 15 were killed. Officials say 10 more have been hospitalized. The helicopter was transporting the workers to the remote Vankor oil and gas field. A day after a deadly suicide bombing claimed by the Islamic State group, Tunisia closed down its border with Libya. The Interior Ministry said the explosive used in the attack was the same that was used in suicide belts seized from Libya last year. North and South Korean officials met for talks to ease tensions after an armed standoff in August. It was their latest attempt to revive dialogue stalled for the last 5 years. Talks came after Pyongyang expressed regret over landmine blast near the border that wounded 2 soldiers. Pope Francis led an open-air mass for tens of thousands of people in Kenyan capital Nairobi, his first stop in his historic first visit to Africa. The main theme of his tour seeks to address divisions between Muslims and Christians. Time for us to take a quick break. On the other side, all the sports news, and India-Pakistan bilateral cricket series likely soon, with the Pak government giving a green signal. However, the Indian team made the government's nod. More on that on the other side.
The focus of the research is development of carbon nanotube-based composite material. Carbon nanotube is very fascinating material. It's a very high mechanical properties. It's a specific strength, 100 times than steel. If we utilize this carbon nanotube in any of the polymer matrix, we can make a flexible carbon nanotube polymer composite which can be used as a good EM seedling material called the hybrid composite, carbon nanotube, carbon fiber epoxy composite, and which having a better property than the existing carbon fiber epoxy composite, with lighter in the weight, which can be used in the aerospace. We should develop our own indigenous technology.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Bhanu Pratap Singh, scientist at NPL, only on Rajya Sabha television.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Some sports now, and South Africa is in trouble in the third test at Nagpur, needing 278 runs more to win the match. The visitors were 32 runs for the loss of 2 wickets in the second innings on day 2. Spinner Amit Mishra and Ravichandran Ashwin claimed a wicket each for India. Earlier, India scored 173 runs in their second innings, taking a first innings lead of 136 runs. For South Africa, spinner Imran Tahir took 5 wickets, while pacer Morne Morkel claimed 3. This was after the visitors folded up for just 79 runs, with Ashwin and Jadeja running through their batting order, taking full advantage of the turning track. Ashwin grabbed 5 wickets and left-arm spinner Jadeja snapped up 4. Leg spinner Amit Mishra bagged 1 wicket to close the South African innings. An India-Pakistan cricket series may soon happen, with the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Nawaz Sharif, giving the green signal for their national team to go to Sri Lanka for the bilateral series. The series was proposed by the BCCI in a meeting this week. India had refused to play in the UAE, and PCB Chairman Shahryar Khan turned down the BCC President Shashank Manohar's offer to send a Pakistan team to India. The two neighbours haven't played each other in a full bilateral series since 2007, when Pakistan toured India, though Pakistan did visit India in 2012 for a limited over series. The final step towards the series coming to fruition will be a clearance from the Indian government, which the BCCI still awaits.
श्रीलंका में इंडिया पाकिस्तान सीरीज होना तय हुआ तकरीबन 15 दिसंबर से। उसमें दोनों देश सहमत हो गए हैं और उसके बाद तकरीबन 5 मैचेस वहां पे होंगे और उससे दोनों के देशों के बीच में क्रिकेट की शुरुआत होगी।
Time now for some more sporting action in Sports Beat. Indian shuttler PV Sindhu advanced to the quarterfinals of the Macau Open. She defeated Indonesia's Fanetri 21-17, 21-18 in straight games and will next take on China's Chen Yufei to seal a berth in the semi-finals. Ace shuttlers Saina Nehwal and Kidambi Srikanth qualified for the year-ending BWF World Super Series finals to be played in Dubai next month. Saina qualified easily, finishing 5th in the Super Series women's singles rankings. Srikanth made the cut despite finishing 9th as China's Tian Huwei missed out. Manchester United blew their chance to confirm a knockout stage berth after playing out a goalless draw against PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League. A win in the final group game will confirm a knockout stage qualification for United. Real Madrid scored a 4-3 victory over Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League. The Spanish Giants took a 4-0 lead before Shakhtar scored 3 goals in quick succession to create a scare for Real and pegged them back to 4-3. That's it from us. Goodbye.